Okay, here we go. Welcome to another episode of Tube Test. I'm Johnny.
Dominic Bally here.
Okay, this has been such an awesome pleasure, just like hearing you sing. You know, one of the reasons I even like got into music and film and television is just watching some of these people like in being in the booth or being on set. And you just naturally singing these cool licks.
I'm glad it's not boring because I've been singing the exact same thing on every because I'm trying to get like a good AB.
Yeah, but I appreciate all of it. And the funny thing is like I just want to hear an album with just your voice now. Like,
that's really kind of you, man.
No
Thank
tuning,
you.
no this, just boom. We're listening to the FLEA 47 with a K47 vintage K47. You're already smiling because you tested it. Okay.
I'll sing a little.
Okay, here we go.
Well, let me talk just a little bit. Check 1, 2, 2, 1. Hey, this the rebel movement. Feel the revolution now. Only one solution. Move the rebel movement out. Yeah. Yeah. Dude, I really like this microphone.
So here's the funny thing is like I'm trying to ride the faders and if I'm distorting out there, sorry guys, but the point is when you're actually in your studio, you could throw it through a compressor. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So you're not going to have Johnny's finger going up and down. And you're so dynamic, like your voice is so dynamic. So it really needs to capture all of that. But what's your 2 cents?
Gosh, man. I'm hearing a lot of that detail and clarity that I heard on your vintage 67. But I think this is my first time singing on anything like with a 47 capsule at all. It seems like maybe there's like tell me if this is like normal or if it's just the size of the mic is in my head, but it feels a little fatter or a little like warmer, at least for my voice. I don't know if that's a common like characteristic of 47 or not. But I really loved the way that it started to like compress. It sounded really cool. I noticed this was cool. I noticed at the bottom of my notes when I was just the like amount of I could hear made me want to like finish the note better instead of sometimes singers just let them kind of trail off and I can't hear myself anyway. Who cares what happens at the very very end of a note? But it made me want to like finish right, which was a cool experience for me. This mic's, I think for me, for my own voice, this one and the
Max Kircher
mod that you did have been the 2 most inspiring for my voice in particular.
There's a such a vibey 47 top, like just in general, and that's what some of the best 47s that I've heard like have, and like all the old recordings that I've listened to where people are just singing to that 47 and doing kind of like what you just did, where you can kind of hear the tube press a little bit and you kind of hear the capsule doing its thing. Like, yeah, this helps because this guy has a K47 vintage re-skinned by Thiersch, and then it's got what's called an EF12 tube in it, which is a very kind of middle of the road. It's trying to emulate what's called the VF14 in a U47, and it does a really good job. But it's not a VF14, but it's very close to a VF14.
Is it a little bit more sibilant than a 67?
In my opinion, just slightly.
Okay.
It's that top, you know. And then the other thing is I've messed around with tubes. Like I have a few other EF12 tubes. They're a little bit noisier, but they smooth that high end off a little bit.
Yeah, because I would say with the 67, the modded one that you did, all the 67s, I didn't feel like, oh, I need to shave a little off the top. I didn't have any EQ moves in my mind. But on this one, I have a little bit of an EQ mind.
Just
like,
a hair.
Yeah, there's like a little, I just want to
Yeah.
take
No,
off.
no. And you're right. I mean, and this is with a K47 vintage. If I put on a vintage M7, it would probably add a little bit more to that, because that just is an inherent M7 has a little bit more, in my opinion.
Gotcha.
Like, guys will tell me, no, yeah, the M7's like, the same as, no, like what I'm hearing is there's a little bit more top to the M7.
Okay. Gotcha.
But at the same time, like we were talking about earlier, depending on the song, it could be like, you could throw on that M7 and it sounds great. You could throw on the K47, and that may sound better. It's hard to say.
Right. Like the parts that I chose to sing had like a little bit more energy. They weren't as like ballady, but maybe if you were singing a little softer or whatever,
Yeah.
you might choose a different microphone, obviously.
And it's a trip, like listening to this M7, which is very MIDI and, has such a big mid range. And then you listen to this and you kind of hear the,
Right.
the tube warmth.
Yes.
And you got to hear the clarity. Yeah. So we should quickly throw on the M7 and see what you think of that. We could just hot swap it. Well, I got to turn off the mic. You guys will get mad at me. They'll be like, dude, you're destroying the tube. I had a friend of mine who basically just did that. And I did that. I was the guy that says, dude, you're going to mess up. He's like, but why? I'm just like pulling the head off, like right in the, and I'm like, don't. Anyways. Okay. So, we'll test it out with, the FLEA 47 and, M7 mic.